Gee, how much trouble can a live stream have? Welcome everybody. This is BlenderToday number 50. Yes, you don't get easily to this point. It's me, Pablo, with another week with a round of updates on Blender Today, Blender Community, Blender 2.8, and beyond. There is so much to cover today. And today, actually, I'm not alone. I am. It's somebody says it's Francesco City. Yeah, how did you know? Here, everybody, please welcome the boy. They love you. They really love you. But they clap in a very similar way that they just did.
Yeah. So
welcome.
This is what happens when you get two Latinos to do a live stream, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Anyway, so it's a pleasure to have Francesco here, and I invited him especially because today is the 50th episode of Blender Today, which is a project that we started long time ago, many years ago, 3 years ago. We started Blender Today. Then it became Blender Community, which is now hosting also Right Click Select among other communities. We also worked on the Blender Network, on the Blender, everything from the 4K Tears of Steel.
Yeah, that's how we started, and then we did like a bunch of projects. And at some point, yeah, indeed, we thought like, oh, let's just try to make this platform, because like we felt like it was nice to create something from scratch when we were starting to be more comfortable making like applications like web stuff together. So then that's when it all started. And then like I think it was 1 year later that you started doing the streams.
Yeah, I decided to start this live stream, so it's pretty nice to have you here to celebrate. And we have announcements to do today, which they just happen to line up with what we were doing at the studio. So we both of us work at the Blender animation studio here. He's the producer of the Caminandes shorts, and then Spring Open Movie project right now, and Agent 327, and a bunch of stuff. The Blender Cloud. I mean, if I start listing things, we don't finish. But there is a big announcement that it just went out like a few minutes ago by Tom Rosendale. Is it a Cold Quest 2? No, it's better, because Cold Quest will mean a lot of things to do, and it doesn't. It's actually a wrap up sprint slash workshop slash getting together and seeing what's left to finish and to ship Blender 2.8, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how like even just 1 year ago we were having the similar conversation about like how do we give more momentum to the Blender 2.8 project to make sure that it just like happens as fast as possible. Of course, the project is huge, so there is a relative speed at which it can go. And basically now it's a similar situation. Like so much has happened, like the amount of the audience that there is for the 2.8 project is insane, but still like the amount of work that the development team has to deal with is also
it's pretty big. So yeah. What is it? It's a 1 week for most of the developers. Actually, with the weekends, it's going to be more like 10 days, and a few other developers are going to have a bit longer, like maybe 2 weeks, because they need to settle, because they come from abroad. Campbell Barton from Australia, Dalai Felinto from Brazil. So we might have Dalai again if he's up to do the videos again in the Blender Developers YouTube channel.
That would be great.
Then what else? We also have Bastian, and we have
Clement.
Yeah, from Eevee. So you know Clement. So who doesn't know Clement? And together with the developers that are already at the Blender Studio, which are Jacques Luc, Animation, Everything Notes, Brecht van Lommel, Cycles, and pretty much everything. Sergey, Dependency Graph, Cycles, and everything. Sybren, Alembic, and tools in general.
And Ton himself.
And Jeroen Bakker also.
Yeah.
And Tom Rosen, he's gonna overview this, the last part. It's called the Homestretch. 2.8 Homestretch, which is like the final part of a race, right? To achieve the goal. What is the goal? Release Blender 2.80. It's not also to plan the 281 and 282 releases, what's gonna be there, and also more like a.
So at the end of the workshop, do we release Blender basically?
Yeah, on Friday at 6. No, please don't.
You heard it first? No, okay.
We heard it first in Blender Today, number 50. No. The goal at the end is to have a clear map of what to do and when to do it to release 2.80. So the release still will be like...
yeah, it's gonna still take a few months.
It's gonna take a few months. Why did this come up? Partly because it's been 1 year of the Gold Quest, and also because there are a few topics that are still not really settled. Also, aka outliner and the collections and all of that. It showed that it's better to have people on board here, among other things like the tool system, Eevee cycles stuff, in general. Like, no, we're not gonna have a game engine yet, no asset manager yet, but the idea is to plan it, to have it in the roadmap. So expect more videos and more guests.
That's what I was going to ask. So like, you're gonna go back to, like, you know, the Blender developers channel and making...
Yes, I'm gonna go back to the Blender developers YouTube channel. Of course, I'm gonna keep being here. Thank you. I wish I could say your name. Keep it up, guys. Awesome people. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna keep making videos, of course, in Blender Today, but also on the Blender Developers YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Blender Developers, gonna be making videos there, grabbing my camera, and not like this, or like more like an old camera, and I'm gonna be asking questions, and just like I used to do it on the Cold Quest. So it's like a tiny Cold Quest. Isn't it awesome? All right, enough excitement. Actually, I have a bit more exciting news. Today, we're gonna cover new things in new updates on Eevee, cycles, the interface, new little tricks in the interface, and if I'm not wrong, well, I am wrong because I don't have my precious list of updates that contains also the developer meeting. Today is Monday, so there has been the developer meetings. By the way, before I go any further, this is live, by the way. You can ask questions anytime, and you should, because if you go to, otherwise we are gonna run out of time. Go to BlenderToday or Blender Community if you're already there. Of course you are. And there is a post made by Joe Kabler. Thank you for making it, by the way. There's already 31 comments, so good luck. Try to go and ask your questions fast. If the site goes down, try harder and we'll do our best. So here are the news. Oh yeah, interface stuff, cycles, new preferences, and the biggest one here. I'm not gonna show it here. I'm gonna make it like I want it to be a surprise. Look. If you're an Eevee user, if you're a VJ, if you're a creative, look, okay, it's not this one. Oh, actually, this is what I did, by the way, the intro here. If you're an Eevee user and you use textures, but you like textures that move, what is it? What is it? I cannot believe, look, shadow, overlapping shadows, yes. And look at what I have here. What? So,
wow, look at those two smart.
These are two very, not really smart people trying to make a live stream work. But the whole point of showing this is that videos are now working in Eevee. This is Eevee, this is not cycles, and you can now have videos playing in the... You are clapping for some reason.
Wow, nothing has changed. It's the same thing.
It is the same thing. We're clapping, we're still trying... Okay, no, sorry. That is a bit of context.
That's because I was clapping very loud. As you were like, geez, why do you have to clap so loud?
Yes, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I like you're clapping and then you're like, clap.
The power clap.
Okay,
Awesome.
sorry, too excited.
Yeah.
What this means is that now you can have textures, video textures, like videos playing on Eevee live. Isn't that amazing? Yes. thank you, Brecht van Lommel. He was the one that fixed it, but also Clément and everybody in the community. This is a thread that has been it's been in discussion for a while. So yes, finally, yay! Great news for everyone. Clapping for good luck. Thank you. Okay, great news. And thank you, by the way, love everything Blender Foundation is doing. Keep it up. Thank you, Tobias.
Thank you.
We're glad. And thank you for calling it Blender Foundation. You got it right. This is the meeting, the quest, not the quest, the stretch is organized with the Blender Foundation / Institute because it's kind of the ones hiding the current developers down in there, not down there. So. Oof, that was exciting. All the this feature has been around forever. Yeah, and I took the time to actually go and look for the video.
This I am impressed. That's awesome, but it's funny.
What, that is working in the animation? You can even have multiple. Look.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and you can change the shaders. This is actually so if you make it metallic.
Wow, then you don't see anything anymore.
You make it. Yeah, exactly. You can also maybe use animation, and then it will be. Bit stronger.
Wow.
So there you go. You can actually see what's going on.
Beautiful.
Look at this boy.
Yeah, look at the barbershop in the back.
The barbershop. Yeah, we were so young. Not.
Yeah, the old studio.
Oh, the cube.
Yeah. But you know what's funny is that this feature, like apparently, it's been around for a while. Like the need to get this working, and just recently we were having a conversation with some can't say yet.
Oh wait, what?
Someone that makes this kind of live videos professionally.
Oh.
I was really interested in having this thing
like doing
working.
Some sort of like a.
They do like live events and stuff with like
a VJ.
Kind of like a VJ, but it's like in a big theater and with stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would love to do this kind of stuff. We just need to add MIDI support to Blender 2.8 and then bam,
then you're done.
Instant VJing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's awesome that I just heard of this recently, and yeah, apparently there was a lot of momentum already going, and it happened, and then everybody's happy. So this feature will be used.
They will be used.
Yeah.
Cheers, by the way. Thank you.
No, I cannot with
what?
water.
Come on.
It's like, no. It's too bad.
You in Italy. It's like bad luck.
You can't. Yeah.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna look you at the eyes. I'm gonna
just
cheer with myself. Now with okay. Now I'm not gonna. I have too many toys here, so I was gonna play with them, but no. Let's go to the updates. But the cheers is because of the 50 episodes of Blender Today. 1 year of Blender chat, 3 years of Blender Today, well, as a community.
Wow.
And 2 years.
3 years.
I think so.
Wow.
There is it's in the calendar.
Okay.
In our calendar, we have like a calendar for our news. MIDI 2.0 is coming out soon. Wow.
Yeah, I read about it.
Who's gonna put it in Blender? Who's gonna put it? VJ. VJ is video jockey.
DJ, but with videos.
Video. It's like DJ, but videos. So, more news. Cycles, OpenCL compilation times have been reduced. So, if you have an OpenCL graphics card, like AMD, also is NVIDIA, but AMD, you now is gonna enjoy faster compile times. Animation denoising is now available as a Python operator. So that's something I tried to demo last week. Using it.
Well, no, I heard of.
Do you watch Blender Today?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I do. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That's zdrowie. Sorry, I was just saying cheers to people. The the animation denoising. I should try it today again, but not like.
I was using it yesterday, and it was also having
issues,
little hiccups. So I think there is still some things that could be probably polished. I guess it depends on the input. Like sometimes when you have maybe, I don't know. I was talking to Brecht about it today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the empathy.
Yeah, no. I understand. Yeah.
Yes. Well, on the last week's video, there was a comment, many comments saying like, "Hey, it's good to see you fail because it means that even if you use Blender every day, you can still fail, and you actually fail more often."
Yeah.
Math. Science. All right, Eevee now supports rendering. Yes, we already covered this one. And Eevee now has lights. The Eevee lights now has a actual unit, which is watts.
Do you know what they were before?
They were watts, but now they have a W in them.
Oh, so they were watts.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah,
okay.
Major improvement.
So now you can actually know. Because I remember once explaining somebody, and the light, like I think it should be watts, but
It's
it's not in the tooltip or anywhere. At least now you know. Yeah, that's cool.
It is. Yeah, it's
Great.
not. It's not for cycles yet because cycles and Eevee slide has not. They're not unified yet. But basically, yes, you can do or you can do even milliwatts if it's very dim, or you can do megawatts with capital
Like
M.
a sun. Look at that.
Yeah, that is
Beautiful.
like megawatts. And for this, a small side note for those that like to tinker with the code, Brecht added so the units are sensitive, cap sensitive,
Case sensitive.
case sensitive. So small caps or
So for all unit systems.
for all unit system, yeah. So that way, until now we didn't really needed it. It was mainly millimeters, meters, feet, teaspoons. So now they're case sensitive. So next, wireframe drawing has some further improvements in terms of quality, and I'll also support wide lines on Mac OS. I bet you're really happy about it.
Thank you, Clement.
Wide lines. So here the thumbs up, Clement. Thank you, El. Merci. User interface layout tricks for various panels. Yeah, William has been posting a few improvements on the panels, maybe mainly like rearranging, making sub panels and stuff. But there is a feature that is not highlighted here that it was added by the amazing Chuck Luke.
Oh.
So it's a feature in the graph editor and in the sequencer, I think, but I think it should be on every other editor, which basically is that if you're a marker, now you can set as the markers to be visible in the whole line.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
because it's very useful.
It is very useful because it was available in I think it was in the sequencer or like in some editor, but not in the animation editor. So if you're using animation, it's very handy. So this was a request from Healthy at the Blender Studio. He asked Shaq. He implemented it in a graph editor because he asked him for the graph editor, but I think it should be on every editor.
Yeah, I mean,
already animation editor, right?
Yeah.
NLA, dope sheet, and all that.
It helps a lot, the readability, definitely.
Yeah, I think we need to change the colors though of the markers because they are black because they use the color of the numbers here, and I think it's too dark. What you guys think? Give it a thumbs up if you want the black color. Give it a thumbs down if you like white color like it used to be. Wait, what? Up or down?
Go back to yellow color.
Down is for white.
Okay.
It's like making live polls. I like to do that. People are very, very, very nice. Thank you, by the way, for all the
amount of activity that is going on. Like I can see
insane.
now from this side of the fence, like trying to talk and read things, and talk to people, and then thumbs down, thumbs up, everything
it's
going
really,
on. Yeah, it's so much stuff. Yeah.
I want to get a thing to switch with the button, the screens, so that way I can make it a bit easier for me. But it's a new shortcut, by the way, to flip the normals. Until now you can flip normals. Look at all the thumbs down. Thumbs up for black, thumbs down for white color. Interesting. Okay. The all so this is gray, right? No, it's gray.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to read it. Anyway, the
normals.
The normals. Use a new shortcut basically. It's nothing too exciting.
It's a bullet item. That's all, Campbell.
Yes. New preference for shortcuts. Oh yeah, that's another one. I'm not really convinced about that one. Let me show you what it means. It's a new preference for shortcuts to work with both type and pie menu. For example, Z can be used to toggle wireframe and the shading mode. So this is a tricky one. This is something that it was tested several times in the and reading I'm getting distracted by reading the something about OBS mobile. So it's something, it was tested multiple times during the code quest and after the code quest about what to do with the pie menus. Should they toggle on click and then when you hold and drag be something else? But for example, in the see, for toggling wireframes, if you want to have it like in 2.7, you could do it. You can now do it from the pie menu on drag. So basically, it makes it so when you click on some keys, this is specific for some cases, like set now toggles wireframe. So this is like 2.7 basically. But if you hold it and move your mouse, it will become the shading pie menu. It's good in a way, but the reason why this was on the default is because you can make the pressing of a key very slow. Like it feels a bit slow because you press set and it toggles it. But in order for it to work, you have to not do it on press, like when you press it, but when you release the key. So it feels slow. If I press and hold, nothing happens. I leave it and then it happens. So it feels like sluggish because you have to, it's on the release of the key, not on the press. It's something that you understand better when you use it.
Yes, because I was watching you do it and I'm not
you couldn't
sure
tell the difference.
So it's like maybe I don't use pie menus that much. Like I'm actually forced to use them now because they are in 2.8. So whenever I use Blender,
you have to get used to it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's I guess there is a lot of different demands for this kind of interactions. So
there is.
Yeah.
But it's one of the reasons why the tab doesn't toggle edit mode immediately, and then when you hold it, it's because it can feel a bit slow. So the last one, simplify settings, now have an option to globally disable high resolution smoke volume drawing.
I wonder who needed that feature.
High resolution smoke volume drawing. Yes, that is the Spring team. And did you need it? You asked for that feature?
No, actually no, but I guess it was probably like Andy that is rendering, is dealing with the scenes that have like a lot of this kind of issues. I'm not 100% sure it was him, but yeah, it screams.
So the setting is basically a way to disable the smoke high res on viewport. So you can disable, so you can have it enabled, but disable high res. Can we just call it high resolution? So that we don't have space here. Maybe we should. It's a very useful feature because then you can finally have high res in the render, but not in the viewport. So imagine when you have so many characters in the Spring Open Movie project, by the way, if you're not up to date to what it is, make sure you visit it because it's Monday, and Monday means the team gets to upload all the new stuff. So I'm not gonna show you because a spoiler alert.
Spoilers, yeah.
I said spoiler. I mean, if you don't understand, if you don't see it, and with the music, it like this film is all about the music, so, and the visuals. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, outliner said yes. Okay, there has been some discussions going on about the outliner. I'm not gonna go into detail that much.
Why not?
It's
complicated.
Kind of, but basically the discussion that last week was a bit of how do you call it? Mess? How do you call it? Disaster?
Yeah, no. But it was I don't know.
So we had a meeting on Friday morning. We had a meeting with Dalai, with Brecht, with Sergey. So we had with William and Julian. So we had artists, UI designer, dependency graph.
It was an all deck meeting.
Yes,
like we need to do something.
Full stack. So it was embarrassing. Like the all the discussions that keep going on the forums about the outliner and the collection. So we actually just got together for a couple hours, and we kind of came up with a plan. So some of the settings are gonna be renamed. Some of the settings are gonna be, like, long story short, some of them are gonna be renamed. Some of them are gonna be exposed a bit more. So the issues kind of were include, exclude. In 2.7, exclusion is used for cycles, right? But in 2.8, it's also used for hiding things in the viewport. So now it's gonna be called enable disable, basically, instead of exclude include. it's a bit easier to understand.
Yeah, I think like after the meeting, I was talking with Brecht, and I was like, "So how is the situation?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's complicated." It's like I think the main problem comes from the fact that the old layer system, like it was so minimal, and then people built their own solutions around it, and really push it to its limits. And now the new outliner is also like it's even more flexibility and power, to the point that it's hard to design it so that it scales well for like a simple use case or like a more complicated. Because like every example that I was thinking of, for example, in a conversation with him, was like, if we have these assets from the production, we need to do this and that, and you have visibility requirements and things like that. But then when you're like doing something that is not a production with like 5 to 10 people with different teams exchanging stuff, and you just need to handle the simple visibility of one object, then you don't need the whole array of buttons and things, and it's unnecessarily complicated. So how do you make an interface that scales well to that level? And
it's tricky. So basically, we're gonna not be hiding all the columns, but actually allow the columns to be hidden by default, and also show what do they mean. So the screen icon was mainly about the instancing when you link to another file. So now it's gonna actually have an icon of a link. This is not gonna be enabled by default. The idea is that by default is very minimal, just like even more minimal than 2.7. And then maybe toggle the renderability or expose it in another way. So that still has to be defined. But here you can read more about the renaming of the new features, the icons, and everything that it's intended for the new tweaks on the outliner. So yeah, it is tricky. Now, for example, I'm working on a file. The file I'm working on is Scene 10 in Spring. It's 30,490 something objects. 30,000 objects, like 1,000. The number of triangles was 30 million. I remember because it was amazing. So 30 million triangles in my scene, 30,000 objects. You can imagine it can get a bit complicated to handle, but Blender 2.8 can. With a beefy computer, right? Not with a laptop, of course, but we try our best. Yeah. So I think that's it with the updates for today. Let's read some of the questions before it's too late. So okay, I'm gonna go to the thread. There's 40 questions, but they're sorted by the top voted ones. So I'm gonna try and answer. Let's try and answer all of them. Start now. Hey, Pablo, did all of the cloud announcements mentioned at already get committed? I believe they have these comments. Yeah, this is already committed, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, this is code that I was actually for a while. It's been there. I don't know if he mentioned it. No, he didn't mention it. But it is committed. It's part of Blender 2.8. Actually, you can check the wiki release notes of 2.80, and there should be in more features. Maybe it should have its own section for physics. But here you can find more on the physics section of the wiki. So next question.
Oh, you're fast.
Do you think we'll get the yeah, otherwise we never make it. So Tidalus is asking, who is, by the way, a cloud subscriber, a CodeQuest supporter, and a Titanium development fund supporter. Do you think we'll get dimensional tools on the 3D view toolbar? Angle, length, diameter. Also, is there a way to render with another camera targeting an image texture without having to render the images first? Only one F12. Or even live update in the... Okay, that's pretty advanced, I think, for what we're doing right now. I think it's not really... that second part is not possible. Is there a way to render with another camera targeting an image texture without having to render the images first? No, I think no, I don't think it's possible. Sorry. Well, maybe with animation nodes, with the add-on. No, with the everything nodes, with animation nodes, because they can update sound in real time. So why not
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
sound and image is the same, right?
Which
It's just a
vendor?
different.
Yeah, I'm just struggling to
understand.
It's the struggle, but it's like
And the dimensioning tools, I haven't
yeah, that's
seen
the
it.
thing. All in one F12, because that's the first thing I was thinking. It's
Yeah,
like, of
that's the
course,
main
you can
issue.
toggle. You can toggle really fast. If your animation is at 24 FPS, you can just do it at 48 and then toggle. It.
And then toggle, yeah, maybe not. Let's see. Dorian. Hi, Pablo. I love your show. Thank you very much. I love you being here. Really want parallax occlusion mapping for Blender. It could really change the game. Will my dream come true one day? Yes, it will. One day. One day.
You give people hope.
Because it is
That's
something
so nice.
that people are constantly asking for.
Yeah.
So the more people ask for it, the more that it gets higher in the priority. So when developers have a bit of free time, they can work on it. I think, like for example, this week and the last week, there has been some changes in Blender that if you compile Blender, you will see that many files changed. It's because of the renaming of the DNA's whatever structure thingy under the hood. It's nothing to do with final user, so you won't see any benefit now. But it's a huge benefit for new developers coming in, because Blender, for example, if you use Blender for 10 years, if you're a developer using Blender for 10 years, and you just, okay, I'm gonna look at the code, I want something to add in the animation, whatever, and then you see something IPO, what is it? What is it? You've been using Blender for 10 years, and I don't know what IPO is. Well, 15 years ago, there was an editor called IPO, which it was the graph editor. Then it got renamed, but inside the code was always IPO. So if you're a new developer trying to jump in and code something, then you see this kind of issues. Duplets, they're now called instances. Now they also got renamed. Imagine in 5 years somebody trying to code for Blender 2.90 and they see duplets. What is a duplet? Or now we know because we have Fresh, but all these changes, they are good for the future. So hope on those kind of features for new developers to jump in, and 2.8 is gonna get a lot of people interested in contributing to this project. Momotron 2000. That's a great name. Yeah. Hello, Pablo, and special guest.
Hello.
You were not undisclosed there. A question that caught my attention was how the development of Alembic in Blender is going. It's going great. I read several times that people have problems with Alembic. No motion blur, simulation. Other 3D programs we work with Alembic. In order to be flexible in the software, we use different projects. So I love how your contribution. I'm super happy how Blender evolves. Thank you. We're also very happy, and I think Alembic is it's in good hands.
Yeah, like Sibren has been spending quite some time in over the past year, probably. Yeah, maybe even a bit more, to really make sure that it's as support as it can be. And very often, especially like the more practical demands, the practical requests about Alembic come from professional users, and by that I mean studios, people who have a pipeline and they have really specific needs. And one of the biggest bottlenecks during that process is like to really get the studios to be open about the issues that they're really having, and sharing like content and files, like production files that actually allow us to reproduce and improve the issues. And that's sometimes like that's all that it takes, really. So if you have like specific, maybe this is a a very simple example, is a very specific feature, but it's like to be upfront about this, it's like what really helps to drive the development further, and it really lowers the threshold for getting a developer to say, yeah, okay, I schedule this because I have an idea. I have seen the file, I've seen the setup, I think it's gonna take a week, and then you can actually do it. But if you just like, yeah, will this feature exist one day? Especially when it comes to I/O and pipeline, it's really hard to judge without having the full picture. So yeah.
So we're also using it in the Spring Open Movie projects. So there has been improvements there. For example, now curves can be exported as mesh. So that's a big improvement. And the more like if you're using 2.8, like as of today, it's much better than what it was in 2.79. So yeah, good stuff coming up for Alembic, I think. Thomas Paul, which is a code quest. Hey Pablo, thank you and all the fantastic Blender devs. Just wanted to know, will there be any future plans on being able to tune the infinity grid in the viewport on and off? That's also another request that a lot of people are asking, so I think it's fair to have it on and off. And it's not perfect, so I think it should be we should be able to turn it off. It's not perfect. You can run into ways to make it fail very easily. So, Fast Hope Hard. Hi everyone. Just so the live link to post about the outliner, it refers to some Caspar feedback.
Caspar feedback.
Caspar feedback. That's Julian Caspar. Hello, Julian.
It's the famous Caspar feedback.
The Caspar feedback. Any chances of select all items in between holding shift to individual holding control implementation? That's one of the like a file browser basically. That is also very long awaited feature for many years.
Yeah.
And I think it will come. The outliner is getting much more attention right now. I can't say a date, but I think it's getting more attention. But now the focus is trying to show the collections and stuff much more easily. But I bet a new developer would love to contribute on that kind of stuff, right? Thank you very much, Thijs, for your contribution. And thanks for the episode. Here's to 50 more. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 50 episodes. Wow.
Yeah. So much love. So good.
More than a year. Yeah, it's crazy. Awesome. Wow. We should have cake, not beer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, David B. Ciao, Pablo. Ciao, Francesco.
Hey.
New Blender user here. Just wondering if you have any news about Udemy supporting 2.8. The last time I checked, there were issues with the Workbench engine, so it's really close to be there, but it's too late for 2.80. So I think it's gonna be 281. Unfortunately, but yeah. Another Illustimo. Hello, Pablo. See you this evening. Any updates on Grease Pencil? I posted a remark about weight painting with an armature. No reply yet. Maybe I posted it in the wrong place. Any dedicated Grease Pencil? You can... no, I think the Dev Talk is a good place to get other people to know if it's on your side or if it's everybody having the same issue. But if it's a bug, you should report it on developer.blender.org. Otherwise, Dev Talk is the right place. You can also mention the developers involved in that is Antonio Vasquez and Charlie Jolie also. He's looking into it. You can friendly poke them. They're volunteers, please be gentle. Next, Tommy H. Hair in Blender. Hair dynamic should be a button. Apply frame as comb. It should be. That would be pretty cool.
Wow.
It should be frame as comb. That would be a good way. So you freeze it in the motion. Yeah.
Wow.
So Voxel9 asks, Hola, can you tell us more about the companies who are contributing to the development fund? Did they also give you suggestions for features they need or advice how to better approach some changes and how the team is surviving in front of the avalanche of suggestions requests? I mean, only the new icons thread has more than 3,000 posts and a few dozen only for the save icon.
Now imagine if for every one of those posts
3,000 posts
we would get $10.
10 each, then you will get I don't know how much.
Enough,
30,000?
enough to almost hire a developer for a quarter or like half a year.
Yeah.
So
wow.
it's
Half a year. That could do a bit more than imagine.
Than a save icon.
Yeah. So your question: how the companies who are contributing to the development fund involved? Well, if we look at the list, the companies that you're referring are these ones, right? Google, Aleph, Polygon, Steam Workshop, and Ubuntu and the Blender Market. So far, no, they are supporting the development fund, but they are not asking like, hey, can you add this feature? Because it doesn't work that way still. There are companies though who are actually hiring developers, but not as part of the development fund. For example, AMD at the moment, right?
Yes.
Is hiring Jeroen Bakker to work on the OpenCL version of like a kernel of Cycles. But that, for example, is a one developer for 1 year, but it's not part of the development fund. Otherwise, we would be way over the quota. But since it's one project, it's not part of the development fund.
And it's also like, I mean, part of the policy of the development fund to keep it kind of that way, to really be transparent as much as possible. It's very hard when you have indeed like so much noise, so much feedback, so many direction where to go, and to have people to trust the who is leading the project to do the right thing. That's something that Blender as a legacy, I think it has it. Like the work that Han has been doing is really good to really create that trust, and that also shows in the names that are joining the development fund. So it's really nice to see, okay, Google, I mean, it's, you know, it's not like you haven't heard of them before. So it's very...
I heard them. I think they had the Google Wave project, right? Yeah, or the Google Plus. Oh, I need to update my Google Plus.
Damn, yes.
Oh, what? What about Google Plus? Is it going? No,
nothing.
no. Okay, sorry.
So yeah.
So yeah, next question. Sorry. Then yeah, Alan. Hi, Pablo. Good evening. Can you talk about the Workbench engine? How will it's developing now and in the future? Where can we go to read more about it? The Workbench engine is the engine that you see when you are in solid mode or painting or doing anything that is not Eevee, for example, or the look dev or cycles. The Workbench has been used actually for renderings now, like visualization, and it's so good that now it's being used for that. Even for William made a music video with the Workbench engine.
Oh, I didn't know. Like, I was thinking you were going to say that, you know, the whole spring is still being all animated in the Workbench engine.
Almost,
because it's like...
Yeah, but the Workbench engine is it's developed to be fast and to be for actually making, producing, and animating and sculpting, and really for that. For example, the sculpt mode now supports edges like geometry. You can actually see the geometry since today. So that kind of things. So that's the development. There's not really a one page for it. I want to make one for the release notes of Blender 2.8 in the Blender features page.
Yeah, to explain like how does that fit in the workflow, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, because people maybe see it there like Workbench, Eevee.
Yeah,
cycles.
Eevee they know. Okay, Eevee I know, cycles I know, but like
and the Workbench. What is the Workbench? Yeah, it's the old OpenGL, but OpenGL is gonna die soonish. So it's already dying in some platforms, or being killed actually. Rip in peace.
Next.
Next. Ayadraka. Does Blender 2.8 use GPU skinning for animations? And if not, there are plans to get it. No. There are plans. I'm not sure. I haven't read anything about it. But maybe part of the Animation 2020 project, because...
I mean, this is partially true because I don't know exactly what it means with GPU skinning.
I think there was a SIGGRAPH paper time ago that it was very...
Because, I mean, yeah, okay.
Hyped. You mentioned unifying the settings for Eevee and cycles. Is that planned or happen soon? Yes-ish. Yes-ish. The idea is that they are unified at some point, but ideally it should be before the 2.8 release, so when Eevee hasn't been released yet. So people say that Eevee is a bit slacking in some areas. Well, it hasn't been released yet. Poor guy. Look at the cycle release in 263. Poor boy. Will you repair the viewport pie menu? Not official. They are more useful than the new 2.8. Are they official? If they're included in Blender, they might get picked up by a developer. Otherwise, patches welcome. Otherwise, let us know what are the things that you find more useful there than in the current one. Because maybe they can grab ideas from there. Juanchu asks, hello Pablo. What is your opinion about Sculpt Quest to get a better topo tools and subsurface quest to get better texturing? Subsurface quest, that's evil, guys.
No, I think
it's like the Adobe quest. No, that's not. Subsurface quest. So, and how can you show measurements and edges in 2.8? The measurements, you can show it from the overlay settings while in edit mode at the very bottom. The first question about the Sculpt Quest, what do I think? We need it. But not only, I think doing a quest for substance kind of painting and
sculpting
tools. It should be all unified because it's a painting system. Of course, painting geometry and painting actual meshes, textures is different. So
that's the thing that I've found, like, it's interesting to hear more of these kind of ideas. We should do the code quest for this specific tool set. And it's interesting because it means that, of course, the user base of Blender is growing a lot. and there are more like specialists coming on board and expecting certain levels of functionality.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that we should probably, when communicating about these future plans and places where Blender is going, is really to try to keep in mind its global nature, to be like, it's really this full pipeline. So indeed, as you're saying, when you paint something, it's like, yeah, it's a brush system, so it could be a sculpt, it could be something else. So it's you gotta really keep in mind the bigger picture, and very interesting.
Yes. So thank you, KarmaCast, for the question and the contribution. It says, does Blender Cloud help me learn add-on development, also Blender development? Yes, in the sense of Python and cloud and add-on development, there is scripting for artists. It's in the section, the courses sections.
Training section.
Training. And then it's a course. And in the course, you can have scripting for artists, which is made by Sivran Stubble. He's a developer on not only Python, but also a Blender developer at the moment. And this video that he made, this series of videos, is about making tutorials, making Python add-ons.
But it's great because it's really like to understand some core computer science programming concepts that then you can apply to the add-on development. Because before diving into add-on development right away, especially if you go like, I would like to automate something in Blender, you really should have a bit of an idea of what is really possible with Python itself. And so it really starts from there to get you into the mindset of how Blender offers you this toolset via Python. And then from there, if you understand those concepts, it makes your life so much easier when you want to make an add-on. Because otherwise, if you immediately want to make an add-on, you have to understand how the add-on system itself works. So first you understand the API and then the add-on, and then it's great.
So in a way, it kind of contributes to develop Blender itself, because if you're not very familiar with development, like code itself, it's not only like do this thing. It's more like understand the code, be one with the code. So I really recommend it. And Absolutely. He has a very deep voice and very soothing.
Very soothing.
You can hear it for hours. Yeah. So another question. We need that in Blender. Okay, so link to a video, and we're running out of time, so I'm not gonna check. But I wanted to add blood to a scene. I couldn't find out how to make blood.
Okay, let's not click on the
link. No, risky click of the day. I'm gonna skip it. Sorry, but how to make blood is like any other liquid, I guess. I've never.
Just thicker.
Then it's just a bit thicker. Change the viscosity. Yes. Fist bump to the developer for putting back dynamic context menus. Now it's just waiting for dynamic parent, V-trace, and something to hold until fracture modifier. Peter Hayden. Will we ever get RGBA for vertex color? We are using it all the time for a lot of shader tricks in Unity. And always have to switch to another 3D tool for it. Yeah, that sounds like a small feature that a lot of people are asking. Also, every week it comes up, so it shouldn't be too hard to add.
Make sure you upvote the feature request on right-click select. Those probably is there.
Yeah. If it's not the search on right-click select, search is really good on Blender community. By the way, you should use it very often, as much as possible.
For as long as you can.
For as long as you. They're news, by the way. We both, we mentioned already that we made BlenderToday, and we also made Blender Community. So we have some updates coming. We wanted to ship them for today, but it was a bit too much work.
Too much work. Spring is taking over.
But hopefully this week or next week we're gonna have some cool features for, shall we say? So you can follow communities. So the one of the reasons why we're not adding so many communities at the moment is because otherwise you're gonna have everything on your front page. You cannot follow or unfollow communities. So we're gonna introduce that soon, as in the next week or two. By the way, and with that introduction, we're gonna have a Blender Italia and Blender France, maybe.
Just dropping
dropping ideas. And if you want a new community, just get in touch. Next. Slow boy. Hey, fellow slow boy. I'm slow too. I have a Mac. I also have a Mini, so super slow. but I want to keep using Blender forever. Should my next computer be a PC? Yes.
Oh,
No.
come on.
It's a fellow Mac user. You want to keep Blender forever. Well, in general, Blender works better on Linux, so that it runs. You can probably dual boot a Mac on. So
if you're into that kind of thing.
If you're into that kind of things, you can dual boot, and then you have the best of both worlds. You have Mac for the fancy apps, and Linux for fast and private and safe.
Okay, but here's the thing, real quick, like about the Mac, it's you know, it's again like a bigger thing. If you look at other professional apps that are on Mac, the whole the Apple ecosystem and the turmoil that there is around. It's not just Blender with the turmoil about the aligner. Think of Apple; they couldn't put out like the new Mac Pro yet. The expectations and all these professionals, all these people, these editors, these graphic artists that are trying to get a computer to do something and they cannot get it. So that it's really like something that Apple needs to do. When, I mean, if they want to keep their brand, hopefully at some point they will put out something that works, and they will also start listening better to what is happening within the graphics community, to projects like Vulkan, for example. And maybe when that comes, then it will mean that Blender will run as good as on Linux or any other system. So that's maybe in the future. But yeah, it really depends, not as much on Blender.
Not really, no, but yeah, like the future is Vulkan, and there is a Vulkan metal kind of layer, molten.
Yeah, molten VK.
So it's not gonna die. You're gonna keep using Blender forever. But if you wanna actually get your money's worth, I would suggest you having both. Maybe you can have a tiny little Mac for your
hopes and
for
dreams.
all your for the apps that don't run on Linux, and then have a very nice beefy Linux computer and just
do it,
render the out of it.
Yep.
Andreas Wash, what is the support for Grace Pencil importing SVG files for other files from painting apps? No, unfortunately that's not supported yet. Oh, there is a question here. Thank you, Barnabas, for your contribution to Blender today. I'm learning Blender now, and I was wondering why you cannot move the object origin easily. Snapping in the 3D cursor seems like it's a necessary step. That's another feature that pops up almost every week about the changing the origin. It's not possible at the moment. The only way is, I think there was an add-on for that, but
so you mean
not built in.
Basically like pivot transform, like a Maya feature. Is that what?
Basically,
want?
yeah, like it's selecting the center point and moving it around, but it's super hard.
That's pivot transform, yeah.
Okay,
because Maya doesn't have a 3D cursor, so that's how they transform. They move the pivot, they transform the object, then they move the pivot back. Instead of using the 3D cursor.
Eek.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah.
3D cursor, kind of more flexible. The drag. Okay, we are 10 minutes past
time?
10, but it's we started like 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
Sorry. So actually, I think we can see here how long we've been recording, for 54 minutes. So we have 5 minutes more.
Okay.
Okay.
It's almost.
Yeah. No, we were getting there. So when will we be able to drag and drop the tabs in the workspace bar instead of only moving the tabs? So this question by Vilko, it's also asked very often, but basically the feature is not as easy as it seems to implement.
Why?
It's been tried, and I like when it was added, even Brecht, like the guy that made Cycles, said it wasn't like a walk in the park, like an afternoon work job to do drag and drop of the tabs. So the UI, the code for the UI layout
must
in
be
Blender
really good.
must be amazing. Because it's easier to make cycles than to make moving the tabs. And okay, not being extreme here, but it's not an easy job. So even if you're a new developer and you want to look into it, look somewhere, try find something more easy. Lunar, hey Pablo, will there be a better way to render wireframes? The wireframe now shows triangles, and the wireframe modifier is slow sometimes. It would be cool to render. If we could render wireframes.
Maybe that's some of the improvements that Clement has been working on?
No, it's not really that. It's not really that. And I know what you mean, but no, there's currently no way. Maybe with the shader, with an OSL shader, open shading language, maybe. So I'm making this white so we get more light in the front.
Wow.
Yeah, because you know that you can change the theme.
Wow.
Dynamically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't do it too often. It can break. Takain says, ET Asset Manager is still being developed. Any news? No news.
But
the developer that worked on it is coming. It's gonna be here in a bit over a month in April, actually 2 months, for the Homestretch, for the mini code quest. So there, hopefully we can get into.
we talk about it again.
We can talk about it and bring it back again because most of the system is there, right? It's about the interface and making. Like, there are mockups even, but maybe there is something else that is missing.
I think first, like if you get the outliner right, then you can think about asset management. That also helps.
Yes, I think once you get the outliner, you're gonna find the need for to organize everything. Okay, let's see how much are we? 57. Okay, we have 3 minutes, so let's go to the top 5. I have to do the echo. I don't have echo yet. I have to. Yeah, I'm gonna get
you a button also for the echo. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
45 questions. So, number 5, Neutronic Polygons, Cloud subscriber says, hi Pablo, I just wanted ants, insert special guest here.
Hey,
this is Francesco. I wanted to ask, I know this belongs in the dev talk, but I'm too lazy to ask in here. How do you quickly update a build compiled on Ubuntu, Debian based distros? Also, why is my build folder named build Linux and not just build, as written in the manual? The manual is probably built for another platform, or maybe it doesn't even include the platform because it's platform independent, I guess.
Or maybe it's just outdated.
Or maybe it's just updated. Send me the link and I will check. It's in the wiki, I can update it, no worries. And what is a quickly way to update on Linux?
Just build it all the time.
Build it, yeah. I have a script basically that it is very simple. It goes to the folder and it does make install.
Can you make a tutorial?
I mean, I could show you that the
shows the code.
CD Blender. So cat compile.sh, and it's even all like a mess. It's all commented out.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, no, it's all commented out. I've been making it simpler, but basically it's if I show it maybe, yeah.
Nice.
I see the source, then I will change the branch, and then I will make, if it's not there, I will make the folder for the branch. I don't even check out the thing anymore. I used to CMake. I don't CMake anymore. No. I do it before because I want to know exactly what I have. Like with you CMake, you set what settings you have. And then I also used to override them. Not anymore.
Nice, look at this code cleanup.
I don't do anything. It's just compile, make, and install. That's it. The J is for the number of
jobs.
Processors. Yeah, jobs, exactly. Processors. Anyway, super simple. Number 4. Will you add the render image and the render animation buttons back? A new user will never find out how to do this fast like you can do in 2.79. What do you think? The render buttons.
Yeah.
Do you miss it?
Yeah. Today I was
like lost.
And I was like F12, and then the computer that I have at work triggers the volume.
Oh, and you were listening to music?
And it's not a Mac, but still somebody thought of putting F12 in the volume up, so I just like...
I also have F12 in the volume up, in the Apple keyboard, by the way.
Yeah.
In this one.
So anyway, I had that, so I was like, oh, I missed the button. Because you would just go and the button would be there, because like you're tweaking render settings anyway, so usually the button is right there to press. And instead, go to the menu, click the thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Make a mockup. And we should make it this big. Like in 2.7.
Just make a setting with a slider that changes the height.
In Blender 2.4 was it?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Or 2. Or less.
Yeah, no, 2.4.
Really?
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that boy.
Look at that until the very end. 249.2.
Like here.
Render.
Is Blender.
And anim also not bad, but the render is bigger than anim actually.
Oh yeah, because you render. Anim, I don't have any Why?
So good, so good.
Look at that.
So
Tell
good.
me if we didn't need to
So
update the
vintage.
like
So
Q
good.
FPS slash like this button. What does this button do? No one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows. Extensions. Touch no override.
So
The
good.
little car. I love the car.
Yeah, the...
And the 9 disable text.
Have you done already? No, we didn't do a nostalgia episode with Blender itself, right?
No, I
There's
should
always
do a
Blender
nostalgia.
today, but you could do like a Blender, how's it called?
Yesterday.
Blender rewind.
Oh, rewind.
Yeah, something
no,
like
do
that.
you know what happened to YouTube with the rewind?
Okay, we'll call it different.
That's hot. That's
Yeah.
let's not call Will Smith. And
Yeah. So,
more questions. Sorry that I'm keeping you here. Do you want to go home?
no, I keep you on the spot because it's
Yeah,
like,
I have another live stream to start.
exactly.
And, like,
You have a
jeez.
schedule. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So number 3, Dominic. Congrats to 50 shows. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Okay, number 3, because it wasn't a question. Digislav. Hello Pablo. Thanks for being here with us. Quick question about Eevee rendering movies and sequences. It's working amazing with grease pencil, doodling over a movie. But when I try to render, it's just a blank image with doodles. Render mode in viewport is working just fine. I'm using the movie clip as a background image in camera settings. If it's supposed to work, like just double check that everything is fine. Check if it renders in cycles. It should render.
But he's using a movie
So-
clip as a background image in camera settings, so that doesn't ever render, right?
No, sorry, no, not in the background images. You cannot. It's,
'Cause it does-
it's illegal.
It's like, Chialti also had a similar problem to add an image. Like you drag and drop an image in the viewport and you have it there and it's all beautiful.
And you press F12 and it's gone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Same thing.
It's only in the viewport. It's an empty. Maybe there should be a button to make it renderable.
Can you render other things? Like if you have a lamp, like and you have the lamp object, does it?
Yeah,
does it
with the
show?
workbench engine, the play blasted basically.
So then,
That if you play blast, it should work.
yeah.
But yeah. Number 2. Alan Belcourt. You can read it.
Hi,
I'm not reading
Pablo.
everything.
Good evening to you. Can you talk about the workbench?
Oh, how it's developing now. Okay, we already seen this one. Next.
Okay, any idea if when visibility for different collection per viewport is going to be implemented? So there is a right click select link. 279 had a handy unlock layers function for that.
Yes.
As we were saying before, right? About the flexibility of the old system.
Yes, it's planned. Actually, if you look at the outliner visibility, I don't know if it was in this thread, but it was because there are many threads, and it's about the collections visibility. So if you look at one of the million tasks by Willem, there is one about the outliner, collections. So maybe somewhere here, collection per viewport collection visibility. There you go. It wasn't so hard. Basically, yes, there is a thread, and is people basically asking this. So if you're there, if you're logged in, go give it a heart or thumbs up or a world burn or like burninate a hungry hippo. No, go give it a heart. So it doesn't mean much, but it helps to see how much people is actually looking for those features. Where was I? Here. You.
No. Okay, so where do I go? Like Vladislav?
Yeah, number 1, actually the last one.
Hi Pablo, do you think it's possible for Blender 2.9 or Blender 3.0?
Wow, that's thank you for the leeway for like 10 years.
To use nodes for stuff like modifiers and particles. I hope so. Nodes are brilliant. Also, suffering for smoke emitter didn't work when I last tried. Cheers from the Czech Republic. You're awesome, man.
Thank you very much. No, you are awesome for writing all of this and for being so much room. 2.9 or 3.
What do you think?
Oh,
what do you think?
Yeah,
Will it happen?
Yes. Modifiers for nodes. I will predict.
What is it?
I'm no Nostradamus.
2 points, what?
82.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
83.
You think 83?
I think 83. Realistically.
I would say 82
I hope I'm wrong.
for modifier, not particles.
Okay.
Particles maybe 83. No, 83 maybe. The thing is, it's hard to predict because after 2.8, there will be so much attention in Blender. There were so many eyes looking at Blender and developers and people, and money will fall from the sky, and we're gonna have to hire developers from other companies. You come. No.
Hopefully, like, there is gonna be more momentum, and indeed, like, a lot of the work that is been made to make also Blender itself more welcoming and easier for more developers to be onboarded in the project. That is really the limit right now. Like, that there isn't just enough effort going on, because
it is really the limit. Retro Blender, people are asking for a Blender Classic. There you go.
Fantastic.
I like that. The Retro Blender or Blender Classic?
I don't know. Blender Classic is a bit. I don't mind.
You like
Blender
it?
Classic.
Retro
Blender is cool because then you can really go like. It's not gonna be classic. It's gonna be like, why was that even like a thing?
Why even bother? Yeah, but it shouldn't be a live stream. Maybe it should be like a one video, just very cringy and. Yeah. So by the way, also the videos on the Blender Developers YouTube channel are coming back. We are preparing a new setup downstairs. It's on room, so it's gonna be the best test we ever made. So I think we're pretty much done with this. Please give a link. Please don't post. Okay. Smash that thumbs up button. Thank you, Josh Malcolm, for encouraging others to click on that button. I had a great time, actually. It's been very, very nice. How did you feel?
It's awesome. I mean,
do you like it?
Yeah. I see myself coming back now. Okay, I'm joking.
Yeah, you think?
But
You're welcome, dude. It's so much easier to make it with someone.
I think it's super fun, and it's so great to see like the interaction in this.
So much, over 700 people at some point.
Really? Wow. That I didn't even see. There is still a lot for me to keep track on.
So many things going on. So sorry everyone for the delay, but it was worth it. Now everything seems to be fine. No choppiness. Everything is okay. So
nice to ask.
It's nice to ask, the guys, just in case we were talking to no one. Thank you for the thumbs up. You are amazing.
There was no audio all this time.
Oh, better maybe. Okay, so I think we can call it a day. It's been a pleasure to share number 50. So just feel free to drop by whenever you want. That means you only have to give up your Monday nights.
Yeah. I mean, no big deal.
That's okay, right?
Yeah. At least we can give it up together. But yeah, great work, man. Keep it up, and see you all around in the Blender community website.
Blender.community, or let's chat together on blender.chat. The advertisement is on the little the floating thing. By the way, I made this graphic.
Wow, beautiful.
I used the planet. I took it from BlendSwap. Anyway, time to leave. But you know how we go?
How?
With style. We go with style. So, what's your headphones, people? I hereby introduce you to the one and only 3, 2. The only bad thing is that I cannot listen out loud because otherwise you'll hear it on the microphones.
Oh.
Right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place for Blender Today 51. Ciao.
Bye.
Now you sing.